Hello my wires out there, welcome back to the channel, it's so great to see you again, and if you're just joining, hi, I'm Ryan the Wild. I post fun content like this one, so if you're interested, consider subscribing, and check me out every Saturday. Now before this video actually gets started, I want to say I'm sorry for missing last week. I was very sick, I couldn't stop coughing, so I doubted you guys wanted to hear that for however long this video is going to be. So I'm sorry, and I hope you can understand that this video, that I will try to post stuff before I get sick, so something like that. Once again, because I don't want to leave you guys hanging without saying anything. So, now let's get into the video. Now today's video is going to be talking about my top 5 favorite Disney films. So this is not like a ranking video like I've done. It's my top 5 Disney films, so it doesn't matter if I put a film low, it doesn't mean I dislike it, it just means that's how I feel about it, and this is just my top 5. So, without further ado, let's get started. In number 5, Hunchback of Notre Dame. I like this film purely because this was, I feel like, the first, Disney film that they went on both and went into more of the darker tone of Disney. Like, it was still for kids, but if you, excuse me, but if, you rewatch it, it's actually very dark. It's one of the darkest Disney films out there. Like, even from the very beginning, it doesn't stop being dark and stuff. It's very, very dark and grim, especially with, the whole thing with trying to kill a baby in the first, 10 minutes of the film, with Frollo trying to kill Quasimodo, and with the whole, oh, we're gonna burn you in this pit of fire at the ending. So, this was a very dark film, and I like it because Disney wasn't afraid to push into the more darker tone, because usually Disney's the kid-friendly channel that kids can watch just to forget about stuff. And then the other series, like DreamWorks, Universal, and other stuff, are the more, channels for, more mature teens or adults. Because Disney was the safe zone for kids, and then the other studios were for the more matured audiences. So I did like how they went into the more darker tone for Hunchback of Notre Dame, as well as I did enjoy the songs, the comedy, the voice acting is purely spectacular. My favorite song from this movie is Out There. That's a really inspiring song, and even though it's technically, it's actually very sad when you think about the song, but it's actually very inspiring. It actually is, the song actually, in a way, teaches us to get out there and do what we want to do, despite what other people may think. I personally love that song because it just made me feel welcome into the world, made me feel like I'm going out into the world despite what people may think, and this movie's just great. A completely underrated gem that that I love, especially since it, like I said, it takes more into the darker tone of a Disney movie. Number 4, The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid is a fun comedy, film that I loved watching on VHS as a kid. It is so funny how the animators managed to capture the really exciting and facial expressions on, not even the humans, but the animals' faces, especially Sebastian and Scuttle. Those two characters, the animators did a spectacular job of making sure of, putting out their expressions so we actually feel what they're feeling, when Sebastian, when Ariel sings Part of Your World to Eric when he was like asleep, when he was passed out on the beach, and Sebastian's jaw dropped to the floor, you could actually know that the animators took a long time to animate that. I bet like that took a really long time just to make the jaw like fully come down to the ground. Like the animators did a really good job on the facial expressions, especially on the animals in this film. I like the deceptive villain. Like, those villains in movies, like the deceptive ones, are actually one of my favorite types of villains in movies. How they deceive the main character so much that you almost as the audience actually feel like they're actually trying to do some good, even though you know they're the villain in the movie. But they deceive the main character so much that that makes you feel like maybe there is some hidden good intentions in there, because Ursula is a perfect example of that when she lures people into like unmeasurable deals, and then you find out there's a cost that they can't pay, because Ariel's cost was her voice, and I don't even know what the other people that she deceived's costs were. Like maybe she wanted their voices too. I don't really know why, but she was a very deceptive villain that you could almost like imagine that. Yeah, she's doing good deeds, like he's giving people what she wants, but she's very deceiving with her prices. Like, who would give up their voice just to be with a person that they love and want to be with for the rest of their life? If I ever wanted to be in a relationship and someone said, "Oh, I'll give it to you, but in the cost for I get your voice," I'm like, no, I can't give you my voice. How am I supposed to, like, without communication, a relationship doesn't really work. So, this movie is great purely for the animator's time on this, and the villain's deceptive, and Ursula's deceptive plot. Because, like I said, that's my favorite type of villains. One of the favorite types. Like, there are villains that are complete jerks, and there are some that a medium villain who just does the bad thing and moves on with the story. And then there are the villains that get reformed at the end of the movie because of the hero's self-sacrificial or self-esteem speech at the end. But Ursula is a deceptive villain, like, and those are one of my favorite types of villains. So, yeah, those two reasons are why Little Mermaid is my favorite, and the songs are awesome. They are so catchy. I get those songs stuck in my head all the time. Number 3, Aladdin. Now, once again, like Little Mermaid, the animators did a great job on the facial expressions, especially for the animals. Like Abu, both the monkey version and elephant version, he is so funny with his facial expressions that he almost became my favorite character in the whole entire movie, because him and Carpet, they both competed with, like, the favorite character for me in this movie, because both of them were so funny. I also like how alive, and speaking of Carpet, I love how alive the creators made him. They make him, like, they could have, when they released this movie, they could have just made him, like, a floating carpet that flew Aladdin around everywhere for just a romantic scene between him and Jasmine, like, in a whole new world. Like, they could have just had him have a flying carpet, because why not? It's a Disney movie, everything's magical. But they went into so much detail making the carpet feel alive and make it seem like it has actual feelings, that you actually get more attached to an inanimate object more than the actual main character gets more attached, because you connect with Aladdin, because he's a gem in a rough world, as the evil lion as the sand lion would say, a diamond in the rough. Yes, and that phrase actually means quite little for Aladdin, because he's a good person in heart, but he's in a rough place in life. Because if you know what I mean, like, he's kind to people, but he lives in a rough world between him and other people. So, like, that's, like, you connect with Aladdin, but I just love how they made the carpet feel so alive in this film that you can't help just by getting attached to him. As well as I might mention the songs in every movie, but they are so fun. Robin Williams, mwah, pure phenomenal performance by him that I can almost not see anyone else play this animated genie, this animated character better than Robin Williams did. He was the perfect choice for Genie, and I will miss him in movies dearly. Because there's only 2 movies I know that he was in. There was this movie, and then Night of the Museum. Those are the only 2 films I know he was in. And he was spectacular in this film that I almost wish he came back for the sequel, Return of Jafar. Because if you heard, it was revealed that after the first film was released, Disney didn't pay what Robin Williams was owed for that character, so he didn't come back for the sequel, so they got a new actor for Genie for the sequel, as well as the animated TV show of Aladdin. And then Disney offered Robin more money, and so he came back for the 3rd film, as well as they dubbed his voiceover for the voice acting for the sequel and the TV show. So if you think that Robin Williams voiced in all of those animated Aladdin projects, he did 2 of them, and then they dubbed his voice in the sequel and the TV series, which is honestly mind-blowing to me. And so, yeah, Robin Williams is a pure gem in this movie, and I will miss him dearly. He was the perfect person to play this role. Just like with Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark in the MCU and Hugh Jackman in the X-Men movies. They are pure gems, and I can't see anyone else playing those characters either in those universes, as well as I can't see anyone else playing Genie as Robin Williams did. Even though the live action movie, Genie kind of he did okay. Like, he captured Genie's funniness, but he still couldn't replace Robin Williams. Like, no one can. In second place, Beauty and the Beast. I purely love this film. It was actually my number 1 favorite film for a few years until a certain film caught my eye, which will be the next one. So this film is pure magic. And I don't mean that literally, considering the film's about magical objects and whatnot. So this was a great film. Once again, like Aladdin with the magic carpet, they did not have to make the servants like Cobblepot, Mrs. Potts, and Lemire. Like, they didn't have to make them so alive as they were in this film. They could have just had them be like side characters and they didn't have to be as emotionally attached as they were in this film. But no, they did their emotions spectacularly, and you actually felt for them and felt bad that they got cursed when really it should have only been the Beast that made cursed. Because that kind of always bothered me. Like, I get that he needed to have like some as well as personal stake as well as emotional stake in like trying to break the curse. But why did the Enchantress have to curse everyone that didn't do anything? If anything, I give them props for even staying to serve the Beast after how awful he treats them, because he treated his servants as well as he treated everyone when he was human before he became a Beast. So I give props to them for even staying there, because I would have, if someone mistreated me that for like years, I would have packed my bags and said goodbye. I hope you do well. So I don't understand why she had to hurt them. But I still really like how emotional they made these characters. And Cogsworth is just so hilarious with his like, oh, but the master said this, and oh, the master said that. And like, you can't help but laugh every time he says like, remember what the master said. So this film is just magical, like, through and through, pace to pace, and once again, like, the songs are just a hit. My Be My Guest is just like an magical experience that I assume did well in like that I assume, if it hasn't already, would do really well in a Broadway play for this film. And like, this film is so great, and I really need to rewatch all these movies again. And number 1, The Lion King. Was there really any doubt that I would have Lion King as my number 1 favorite Disney film? Really? Was there any doubt? Like, do I even need to explain to you guys why Lion King is my top? Like, anyone who has watched the Lion King would probably like say word for word of what I'm about to say. Like, do I even need to explain this film? Do I? Okay, I will. This film had beautiful colors, phenomenal characters, great songs, great animation, and great story plot. This film is the example of pure cinema. This film has so many life lessons that you can take and use in your life. The whole, like, remember who you are and don't run away from your past. Those are life lessons that help us as we are today. Like I said, do I even need to explain why this film is just great? Like, this film is just great, and the death of Mufasa is one of the most heartbreaking Disney deaths ever. The only thing that could maybe top it is Bambi's mom. That's the only thing that maybe could top Mufasa's death, and even then, it's still like, and even then, for me, Bambi's mom is still second runner-up to Mufasa's death, because Bambi had, we hear Bambi's mom get shot, but then we don't see her. At least we saw, and then in The Lion King, you see poor little Simba crying over his father's dead body. So even with Mufasa's death, like, that is, like, still the most heart-wrenching and heartbreaking death I have ever watched. Except maybe Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, that might be in, like, a live-action superhero death. In terms of that might have topped Mufasa's death. But in terms of animated films, Mufasa's death tops all. Scar, once again, deceitful villain, but not in the type that makes you seem like he has good intentions in between his evil. No, this guy's pure evil. But even though, like, if you've seen the Mufasa the Lion King, you know this, like, this, you might feel bad for Scar just a little bit. But it still doesn't justify what he did for years, and to his brother, and to his nephew. So, this film, I probably didn't even need to explain why this film was my favorite Disney film. I honestly, if I talk to anyone who knew Disney, I highly doubt one of the first movies that comes to anyone's mind who loves Disney is not this masterpiece of a movie. So, yeah, I didn't really need to explain why this film is my favorite, but now you know why it's my favorite. And that is my top 5 favorite Disney films. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Video, as well as share your top 5 favorite Disney movies, or you maybe even expand it to 10 videos. 10 favorite movies. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. And as well as, let me know what other videos you guys want to see. I'm actually starting that now. I want you guys, if you want to, I don't want to force this, but I want you guys to type in the comments and give me video ideas, because I honestly can't think of all of them. Like, I run out of ideas very quickly. As soon as I figure out how to post video game content, that will be more easier to come by. But even then, I might still ask you guys what video games you guys want me to play first. So, let me know in the comments what your favorite top 5 Disney films are, as well as start giving me video ideas so I can hopefully, maybe I'll give you a shout out in one of the videos, because I'm not trying to be big time. I'm not trying to force this on you. This channel is completely understandable, no judgment, no pressure. But if you want to, recommend videos to me, like, if you guys want me to do big time things that other YouTubers see or have done and you want me to do, like, let me know. I will try to do things relatively good enough, and as soon as I figure out how to do gaming videos as well, like do with the face cam and record the game at the same time, those videos will be much easier for me to come by myself. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Wyatt, signing out, but remember, peace and kindness, the things we need most. Stay wild.